talk, girl talk. What's better than girl talk? Girl talk, girl talk. What's better than girl talk? Chat with the ladies about their day, the ups and downs along the way. She's a cook, she's a chauffeur, she's a worker bee. First in the door and last to leave. Girl talk, girl talk. What's better than girl talk? Girl talk, girl talk. What's better than girl talk?
Hi, I'm Regina Ayars, and this is Girl Talk.
And I'm Carol Voisin, co-host.
And Girl Talk is a lively discussion of the opportunities, challenges, and the successes of women in their daily lives. We interview women living in the Rogue Valley who are making a difference in our communities. We are pleased to have Jessica Sage, the artistic director of Rogue Theater, and Rogue Theater Company, and Annie Paul, an equity actor, who is going to be playing the role of Sheila Davis in the new production of Fragments. Thank you, ladies, for joining us today on Girl Talk.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, and would you each introduce yourselves to the audience and just tell us a bit about who you are, maybe how you got to the Valley would be really helpful. So, Jessica, would you start?
Sure. I'm Jessica Sage, and my husband Barry Kraft and I moved up here about 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Barry has been with the festival, OSF, Oregon's Shakespeare Festival, since 1980, both as an actor and a dramaturg. And we've been coming up back and forth from the Bay Area for many years, but I had a full-time job in the Bay Area as an actor and a drama teacher and a theater director. So we made that move and hit the ground running. I directed A Midsummer Night's Dream at the high school, my first gig, and then Peter Alzado and I did Annapurna. We acted in Annapurna with the Oregon Stage Works, and then the election happened. And
which election was that?
My theater mojo got sucked down the drain somewhere. And as you both know, I started Indivisible with Brett Levick.
Right.
And I reemerged as a theater artist, which is really my first and foremost passion. And,
well, thank you for doing Indivisible.
You're very welcome.
Yes.
I'm relieved too that I did it. It helped me a lot. And even though I'm taking a back burner to it with my new theater company, I'm still somewhat involved.
Good. Annie.
Yes, I'm Annie Paul. Paul, not Hall. Annie Paul. And I'm not from the West Coast, but I've been here since 2015. My partner and I moved here from New York City, and I had been in New York City for 7 years. Before that, I got my Master of Fine Arts at Case Western Reserve, the Cleveland Playhouse, and so then made my way here, which is awesome. And I have produced a couple of my own shows since being here, curated a couple shows, and there's the show that Jessica saw me in. That was one that I produced called Natural Shocks, and that was for after the Parkland shooting. And so there was a fundraiser for that. And one of the most amazing experiences I've had here. And I also am a teaching artist, a resident teaching artist at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. So I write curriculum and teach thousands and thousands of kids, and get to be part of that.
Very good.
And I'll be playing Sheila Davis in Jessica's play.
In Fragments.
In Fragments,
Okay,
yes.
now my understanding is part of what you're doing, Jessica and Annie, is that you're presenting a feminist message.
I can't not present a feminist message.
Okay,
I'm not interested in any kind of
titles
work.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you doing?
No, I mean, what I'm saying is that the work that I want to bring to the Rogue Valley with my new theater company is work that empowers women and work that showcases women. So, for example, this particular play, all of the leads are women. There are 5 women in the play, and 2 supporting male characters, and it's written by a woman, it's directed by a woman, and we have a lot of women on crew. And that's pretty much the way it's going to be for the Rogue Theater Company. I find that the imbalance it's been a sore spot for me as a performing artist my whole life, and I actually got out of acting full-time because of it. And so I thought that if I'm actually going to take the time and the investment, both the emotional investment, certainly the monetary investment, I want to make this theater run the way I would like any theater to be run, which is giving women a chance to air their voices and to showcase their work. So that's definitely one of my my missions.
Oh, very good. And what do you see for the future of your theater?
Well, the immediate future after Fragments is we'll be running for 3 weeks in November. And I've sort of narrowed down the play that we're going to be doing, and we'll announce that after Fragments closes. But the way I like to tell a story is with the text being the focus. And it's so the kind of plays that I like to see and the kind of plays that I want to show are text driven. So it's mostly about family or relationship dynamics. That interests me the most. The pains of being human, the foibles, the excitement, the passion, and that kind of interaction is what I'm most wanting to see when I go to the theater, and that's what I'll present with Rogue Theater Company.
So can you give us a little bit of the storyline behind Fragments?
Sure. I often say that there are a lot of there's a lot of unveiling, and I don't want to reveal too much because I really want the audience to be surprised when it happens. So there'll be no spoiler alerts. But when I was a senior in high school, and I come from New York, there was a lot of turmoil in my life in my senior year of high school. And when I think back, before I wrote this story, I don't know anybody that had the experience I had. Of course, we all have unique experiences, but I felt like this was such a compelling story that I put it to paper. And I never really thought that the play would actually see the light of day. It was more like a cathartic experience for me to sort of get out all that happened. And what ended up happening was I was asked to do a play reading, and the enthusiasm was overwhelming. People were like, we'd really love to see a full-scale production of this. And my first thought was, who could I go to? I mean, I have colleagues. What theater company could I go to? And then I thought about my lifelong desire in the theater to really service women. And I said, nobody's going to do this better than I can. Because I have a lot of passion for it. Like I have a lot of passion for everything I do. So I just started this theater company, and it's been to see these phenomenal actors in the room, speaking my words. Annie's playing my mother, Sheila. You know, when I was 17, she's playing my mother. And to cry tears of joy, tears of pain, tears of sorrow, because she's so powerful. I mean, to me, that's what theater's all about. You know, to have that, reliving these moments. And individually, actors have come up to me and said, you know, I don't have the same kind of background you did or the same story you did, but I also came from a dysfunctional family, and it is so healing. It's so healing to be able to relate to somebody else's experience. So that's a thrilling concept to me.
So it's semi-autobiographical.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So Wanda, can you put up the flyer that announces Fragments so we can take a look at it, the dates and the place? There we go.
So I'll talk over it. We're running,
yes, please do.
Preview is March 7th. And
now what's a preview?
A preview is, it's really the first time the actors get to perform in front of a live audience.
Oh, okay.
So they only hear our laughing or our gasping until they have a live audience. So we're performing at the Bellevue
okay.
Grange, and we preview on March 7th. We open on March 8th, and as I mentioned, March 8th will be a fundraiser for Planned Parenthood Southwest Oregon, our local chapter.
Excellent.
And I'm dedicated for every one of my performances to have opening night be a benefit to one of my pet charities.
Oh, every
Oh,
night.
excellent.
Every opening night.
Opening
so
night.
in
Okay,
November
thank
we'll
you.
have
Right.
one, and I already have an idea of who that's going to be,
Right,
but
right.
I'm not going to mention that now. And so we run the second and third weekend in March. So it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday night at 8 p.m., Sunday matinee at 2, and then the following Friday and Saturday night, and we close March 17th at 2 p.m.
Oh,
Where
nice.
can you get the tickets?
Paddington Station, the Music Coop, and online at roguetheatercompany.com. And we're spelling theater ER, the way Americans do.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. Well, actually, Shakespeare had made it Theater, and they changed it after he died.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. My husband's a Shakespearean scholar, so he
knows.
He knows.
Whoa. He's
Yes, so it's Rogue Theater with an ER, roguetheatercompany.com.
And you can get those online.
Yes,
Excellent.
they're available right now.
So you have
Okay.
your own website. You've already got that up and running. Great, great.
Yeah.
So Annie, what is it like being Jessica's mother? You've got to be honest.
When I first read the script, I was really drawn to it. I like Jessica. In the last few years, I have only produced shows written by women, and so I was just drawn to her strength, and she's very complicated, but so fleshed out. And I think when you first read it, there's just an air about her that is exciting and scary and wonderful, and she's the way Jessica's written her, and I don't know how much of like these little quirks are hers, but like the wit and her brain is all over the place, going back and forth. So it's just really like an exciting map to try to figure out. But it is interesting because knowing that a lot of it is Jessica's story is also really fascinating, and sometimes I feel guilty actually saying the words coming out of my mouth because I'm like, oh my God, that's so harsh, but awesome. So it's really. I also have another woman who plays my mother, Sheila's mother, in it, and that's really fascinating because she's an amazing actor and woman, but it's funny because you were saying before about how people have come and said, my family's dysfunctional too, and my mom and I are super close, but there's times where Sheila's talking to her mother in the play Bella that I'm like, oh, I've definitely said that before, like in real life. I should stop doing that. But yeah, so it was interesting because I was like, I have 2 teenage daughters in this show. Gosh, I'm getting old. And then I was like, oh no, yeah, I could totally have 2 teenage daughters. So there's also those fun reality checks.
So what are the 2 men? What is their role?
Before
Can
we get
you
to
tell
the
us?
men, I just
Oh,
want to,
okay.
because Annie mentioned the woman that plays
Grandmother.
her mother,
Your
my
grandmother.
grandmother, and that is played by the fabulous Eileen DeSandra. She was with the Oregon Shakespeare Festival for 17 years, and she is one of the funniest actors I've ever seen. I don't know if you saw her in A Servant and Two Masters. That was, I think, was that the last thing she did at OSF?
No, she did.
God, she was funny in that.
Much Ado.
She did Much Ado after that? Anyway, she's so hysterical, and this particular play needs some comic relief. There's a lot of heaviness. Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, there's a lot of heaviness. So Sheila and Bella have a lot of the funny lines, and they pull it off wonderfully. both
So-
Annie and Eileen.
So has your mother read this play?
My
Is
mother
she gonna-
died 20 years ago.
Oh gosh. Okay. So
yeah,
she.
but my father and my sisters and my brother are coming
Oh,
to the
boy.
show.
Nice.
They're coming from all over the
I
country.
just asked her that the other day,
Yeah.
and I said, "Have they seen a reading of it, or have they read it?" And, yeah.
Okay.
Have they?
Well, the last time we did it, we did a little bit of an informal reading around my living room, and I don't know if you know OSF actor Kate Vogt, but she played the role that Sheila's playing. So my father and one of my sisters has seen it, and it's really interesting. It's really interesting.
bet. I
yeah,
bet.
it's really interesting, and I keep on wanting to reinforce that it's not all true. And there's a lot of,
Yeah.
I'm taking creative license with stretching a lot of the facts, and that's what theater
what it's
is.
all
Yeah.
about.
But a
That's
lot
what
of
it's
it,
all about.
but a lot of it isn't.
A lot of it is true.
And
Whoa.
it's really also fascinating as an actor because I love working on new plays. But so it's so great to have Jessica in the room because Lisa Avery is directing it, but Jessica's is in the room for every rehearsal, and being able to ask her questions like in the moment or hey, can we chat after? That's really valuable, especially when it is so close to Jessica. Yeah, so that's been really, really awesome too.
Yeah, and it's been wonderful because, I've said from the very beginning, I believe in collaboration. I want you to tell me if a word or a phrase or a sentence doesn't resonate. And the script is becoming better because actors are coming to me and saying, could we just tweak this or that doesn't really, and it's like, of course, let's hear it. And most of the time, I'm a yes. It's not always, but the script has become exponentially better since we had the play reading at Atelier
And it's
last
almost
June.
a communal event with people coming to you and saying, can you change this? Or I'd like to see this. So it's not just all your words.
Right.
It's others
Well,
involved.
98.9%
Oh, is it?
Jessica.
Oh,
yeah, no, it's not like we're rewriting it or
No,
anything.
no, I don't mean that.
Yeah.
I mean tweaking it.
Just a tweak here and a
Okay.
there.
So
yeah.
did you write it as a play? Was it a diary? Was it a short story?
It's funny you should ask that, Regina. I started writing it because I had a very painful childhood. And I started writing it as I was in therapy, and my therapist said, why
So a
don't you
journal.
start
So it
journaling?
was a journal.
And I started journaling, and I just kept on seeing like dialogue and lines popping off the page. And because I've been in theater my whole life, it made sense to me to make it. And it was never something that I thought that I'd be sharing with the world because it's, in a lot of it, to be honest with you, a lot of it is embarrassing. I'm sure people that are working on the play say, wow, man, did she really live that life? Yeah, I really lived that life, and I lived to tell it.
Is that true,
But-
Annie? Okay.
Oh, am I? What
Did you ever think, oh my God, did she really have that life? Yeah, no,
really?
it's,
Okay.
it's, and I'm not really sugarcoating anything.
Okay.
I'm really kind of, I think that if the truth be known, I'm going a little easier on my father just because I love him to death.
And he's still alive.
He's alive. and he was really, really young and inexperienced when he had us. But he's learned so much as a human being and as a father, and I don't want to hurt him.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt him. So I really go easy on him.
I think my mom is coming the second weekend, I think, and I'm fascinated for her to see it because of the mother-daughter relationship in the play. So I'm also just really interested for her to see that dynamic.
I love plays about mothers and daughters.
Yeah, me too.
I love them.
Very complex.
Yes.
I love them.
relationship. So you're,
Let's get Wanda to put up we have a graphic or a picture of the whole ensemble.
Okay.
Can you
great.
put that up?
So the woman on the left is Eileen DeSandra. She plays the grandma. Danny Jokelson, you might recognize him from, he sings for Rogue World Ensemble, and he's also an improv master with On the Fly. And then the young woman, Madeline Ficera, she plays the younger daughter. She's been in a bunch of plays at Randall and Camelot. Next to her is Mary Claire, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Erdnost. I should ask her how to pronounce it. I think she's French Canadian. And she plays me at age 17. To the right is Vincent Zaro Wright. He plays Ricardo Gonzalez, Rebecca's boyfriend. And then Annie is sitting next to him. And then above Annie is Syl Stengel, who's with the Amazons. And she plays Annie's boss.
Okay.
Oh, wow, okay.
So you're in business for you're a business owner now.
Yes, I am.
So is this a new role for you? Have you ever run your own business before?
No.
So how's that going?
When I have to do things like decide whether or not I want to be an LLC or a nonprofit, I start to get a little hivey. It's not. I've been in theater my whole life. I don't know about business, so people keep on saying I'll help you, and it's easy, and I'll walk you through it, and I keep on avoiding that. So right now I'm nothing but a doing business as. I paid my Oregon state license, and yeah, that part is a little intimidating because it's not something I'm interested in.
Yeah. So you're financing the whole thing yourself.
I'm financing, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So and that's interesting because like it's really important for me to have the best talent. So Annie is equity, and Eileen is equity, and I want to be cut above just community theater. I don't want it to be just, hey, let's do a play. I mean, when I see Annie and Eileen on stage doing scenes together, and they're in a number of scenes together, I'm like, this is why you hire the best. This is why you hire professionals, because you get this kind of work. And it's like, so now I decided I'm selling advertising space in the program to start generating income, because I'm not going to be able to make it just on ticket sales. That much I know. And people are buying ads for the program. And it's a win-win. It's not like begging people for money and not getting anything in return. They're getting an advertisement in a program that's going to be seen by people that go out and buy locally.
Right. Oh, excellent. Yeah. So what are the two men? What are they in your ensemble? What are they doing?
One of them plays my husband, and
Your father.
yeah. And it's so funny. I just met him through this show, and it's an interesting relationship that Sheila and her husband have. I'll say just interesting for now. But it's so funny because we're both relatively nice people. I mean, I'm relatively nice. He's very nice, and and so it's funny because the roles we play together can be contentious. Say that.
To say the least.
Yeah, to say the least. But so it's really fun to play with him. And then at the end of rehearsal, we're like, I like you.
I really didn't mean that.
Yeah. And then Ricardo is the young woman who plays my oldest daughter. It's her boyfriend.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So how do you like the Bellevue Grange as a venue for your play?
Well, it's perfect I think for this particular play, it's perfect because my play is based in 1977. And when you walk into the Bellevue Grange, I feel like you go back a couple of decades, you know? And it's also a really busy place, and theater isn't their number one focus. So there are challenges that we're hopefully working out.
But several
I think
theater,
it's a. Go ahead.
yeah, several theater companies are there. I know Livia has her
Yeah.
productions there also. Yeah. So I've been to several plays there.
I think it's a great venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be.
And, you know, there isn't a lot in Ashland, so
Yeah. The community center. That's
so
in the-
booked.
Oh, it's
Oh,
booked.
Here's the problem with the
Okay.
community center. You can never be there on Friday nights because they have a standing Friday night group that's in there. So it's Saturday night and Sunday afternoon, and you have to strike, which means you have to take every
Everything
single thing out of the building after every show.
Oh, that's
And we have like an entire house.
right.
We're doing that a little bit now this weekend, but we wouldn't want to do it every day.
But also we are able to rehearse at the Grange, which is really awesome because rarely as an actor do you get to be on your set with set pieces until tech until you start with lights and everything. And so that's also really kind of amazing
Such a gift.
to have been on the set pretty much from day one.
Why is that such a gift? I don't quite understand.
Because the rehearsal space is so expensive and dear, and people
No, why is it
usually.
such a gift to be on set?
Oh,
set.
I see. Because we could do all the blocking. The way an actor generally learns, I'll just speak from my own experience. The way I learn my lines is, now I'm moving here, and this is when I say this. And then I do this kind of business, whether it's lighting a cigarette or scratching my head, and that's when I say this. And then I move to the couch, and then I get up and I fix myself a drink. And all of that works so much better when you're
didn't know
actually
that.
at the location. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and it just helps with the timing. So obviously, they've measured out in the rehearsal space where the couch will be here, that this will be here. But when you're actually in the space and you're walking the space, the timing, you don't waste as much trying to figure out timing when you're onto the set. Yeah, and it's just, you are put in the world of the play right away. Even if it's not completely the exact couch or the painting, the walls aren't painted the same color yet, you know what I mean? But you're in the world right from the beginning, which is pretty special, because that's not usually the case.
No, not
I
at
have
all.
a 30-second answer for you. What do you do when you forget your lines?
Oh, you mean on stage?
On stage,
Yeah.
during a performance.
You can generally flip through your brain really, really fast and try to think of the next line.
And hopefully your scene partner will bail you out.
Yeah,
that happens a lot too.
Because you've worked on the script for so long,
Yeah.
so you do know how to progress.
Right.
And your
Yeah.
fellow actors oftentimes help.
Carol, I think we're.
Thank you for answering that.
Yeah.
I've always wondered what you do.
Or you go like this.
Well, ladies, we've almost run out of time, and I'd like to thank you once again for being on the show, Jessica Sage, and your new theater company.
Rogue Theater Company. Fragments runs the second and
Yes.
third weekend in March at the Bellevue Grange.
Right. And Annie Paul, who's going to be playing your mother
Sheila.
in Fragments.
Yes.
So, will you
I'd like to thank the
volunteer?
crew, our
Yeah.
all volunteer crew. Wanda, director. We have John, David, and Gary. I hope I didn't forget anyone. Thank you so much. And Lynn, of course, and JC, thank you so much for volunteering and helping us out.
Yes, we're all volunteer here, as I'm sure you guys can appreciate. We would also like to thank Rogue Valley TV and the Digital Media Center for providing the facility and the staff to support the broadcast of Girl Talk and other community-created programming. Girl Talk can be seen on Rogue Valley TV, Channel 15, with Ashland Home Net, or Channel 182 with Charter at 3 p.m. on Saturdays, or 6:30 on Thursdays, or on demand online at roguevalleytv.sou.edu, and you just click on the public access link at the top of the page and then search for Girl Talk. Now, Girl Talk can also be heard on Sundays live noon on KSKQ Community Radio, 98.5 FM in Ashland and 94.1 FM in Medford. Now that's a little bit of a different format. It's Carol and I kind of bickering back and forth rather than having interviews. But it's interesting. It's very interesting. So I hope you've learned something today, and will join us again soon. So bye from Girl Talk.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.